have been listening a lot about the 5 trillion GDP, but what nobody speaks about is the per capita income. We rank 5th in terms of GDP, but how do we rank in terms of per capita income? Let's compare GDP and per capita income of other 4 major economies. Japan 4.1 trillion, Germany 4.5 trillion, China 18.5 trillion, USA 28.7 trillion, India 3.9 trillion. Now let's see the per capita income of each country. India's per capita income is way less when compared to the other major economies. In fact, we rank at 135th in the world. This shows that there is a huge economic disparity in India. The top 1% of the population owns 22.5% of the national income in India. There is economic disparity even in the top 1% of the population in India. The top 0.001% of the population share 2% of the national income. The bottom 50% of the population owns only 15% of the national income. It clearly shows how economically unequal the Indian population is. How can we decrease economic inequality in India? There are many theories put forward for decreasing economic inequality. The French economist Thomas Piketty advocates that India should implement 2% extra tax on people with a net worth over Rs 10 crores and impose 33% inheritance tax on them. This theory of leveling down the rich is opposed by many economists. Economist Raghuram Rajan challenges Thomas Piketty's theory. Instead of leveling down by attempting to tax the rich, Raghuram Rajan advocates for leveling up by creating more opportunities for small and medium-scale enterprises. Rajan says leveling down is going to affect negatively on the upper middle class, as they are already paying huge taxes and an extra 2% tax would be a burden for them. He also says that the super rich will eventually find a way to avoid such taxes. So to obtain economic equality, India should try to level up the bottom 50% of the population. How do we achieve individual development? Let's see the aspects of human development according to UNDP. Long and healthy life, knowledge, and a decent standard of living are considered aspects for Human Development Index. Let's see how we are doing in terms of education when compared to the other major economies. India has set 2.9% of its GDP as educational budget for the financial year 23-24. It is less than the recommended 6% in the National Educational Policy 2020. This underinvestment in education sector will manifest various challenges to the sector, like overcrowded classes, inadequate training for the teachers, and vacant teacher posts. The students coming out of the schools and educational institutions will not be able to compete with the current job market and end up in unorganized sectors with less pay, thus increasing the economic disparity furthermore. With the allocation of 6% of GDP for the educational budget, we can improve the schools' infrastructure, improve the quality of education, increase the holistic development of the children. Education sector can prepare the students for the demands of the evolving job market. In the long run, this will decrease economic disparity in India. Education is a major aspect for human development. Let's see how do we compare in terms of budget spending for education sector with other major economies. Japan spends 7.4% of its GDP. Germany spends 4.7% of its GDP. China spends 6.13% of its GDP. And USA spends 6% of its GDP on education budget. India's 2.9% of GDP for financial year 23-24 may look smaller, but it is the highest ever allocated in terms of amount allocated. India is planning to spend 4.6% of its GDP on education budget this year.